heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings.
Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to In the Stars with Dwayne and Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive. And I'm coming on with a quick little tune-in for you guys. Dwayne and I's schedules this month weren't able to kind of pair up. So what we've decided to do is I'm going to give you a little card reading, kind of a little tune in for what's to come in November. And then we're going to play you one of our greatest hits episodes that you can watch. And of course, if you guys are familiar with our show, you know that there's just a ton of laughter. So we hope that reminiscing a little bit and bringing up some of that laughter will lift your spirits and give you that boost of energy that we always intend to give you throughout the month. So I was tuning in, actually. I decided to pull a card from the Heavenly Bloom Tarot. I believe I use this deck quite often, actually, on this show. And the energy that I wanted to really understand about November is what is it that we can really make use of? Not so much like what's actually going to happen and transpire, but the energy that's there. How can we really make use of it? So I was shuffling the deck and I haven't even seen this card yet, but this card flew out and I was like, okay, I'm going to just use it. Oh, interesting. 5 of Cups. So 5 of Cups typically is a card of grief, loss, remorse. It indicates that you're paying attention to these cups that are in front of you that are overturned, spilled. They're done. No more. And you can see this figure in the card. You know, they've got their head in their hands and they're not really looking. They're not paying attention. They're mourning. And you know what? Sometimes we do have grief and loss. Sometimes grief takes the time that it takes. We feel bad about something. You know, it's not only the death of a person, you know, the loss of a person in our lives through actual death and transition. Sometimes it's the loss of a partner. You know, a divorce is a loss. The loss of a job can be very traumatic, traumatizing, bringing up a lot of grief. The loss of a dream can really be quite devastating to someone. The message of this card is, hey, there are 2 cups here that are upright. They're full. They're ready and waiting for you, but you got to look up. You've got to be looking for the next opportunity. And I want to say, look for the gem in the situation. Death and loss is a natural part of our life cycle. That's why I always talk about the Phoenix energy, because it is the birth, death, and rebirth cycle. We get bored. We would truly get bored if everything was the same. If everything stays the same for a really long period of time and you get stagnant, there's no growth. You don't grow as a person. And that's what this big journey is about, is the soul growth. So 5 of Cups, I feel, is coming through in November to say, it's time to acknowledge the grief for what it is, acknowledge the loss, and turn that loss into a gain. These 2 cups together, you can alchemize and you can make something more. This is like the cup that just keeps giving and giving and giving. You know, it's like a flame. You light one candle and then you bring another candle to that and use that flame to light it. You can light 10 candles. You can light 100 candles. It doesn't ever diminish from that single initial flame. And that's what I'm feeling is really coming up here. The month of November, yeah, you're going to be acknowledging certain things from the past that you're having no choice but to let go of. You're having to say goodbye. Maybe those things are positive. Maybe it's a bittersweet experience that you're having. I know for me, I've just gone through a big move, moving from one side of the country to the polar opposite side of the country. And as much as it was a choice, as much as it's a dream come true for me, and I'm excited about it, and I'm happy that I made the move, there's still a lot of recognition of the last 11 years that I spent in North Carolina, and all of the good, the bad, and the everything in between that occurred there. How did that enrich my soul? How did that contribute to the person that I am today? And how is that going to lay foundation for the person that I'm becoming? Five of Cups in November is inviting us to do just that, to seek not the silver lining and not to bypass grief, but to see it all as part of the soul growth journey. November is going to bring about a lot of opportunity for you to be able to look at that soul growth journey. And, not to put too fine a point on it, we've got 2 months left of 2024. And this is a natural, common window of time where people go into reflecting on what has been, and really trying to formulate a plan for where you want to go, the things you want to put your focus on. So in the process of doing that, we can't skip over the grief, the loss. We can't skip over the acknowledgement of who you've become as a result of all of the experience. Don't get stuck in the past and in what was. Like this person, that's what's kind of happening, is they have the potential right now to get sucked into the what was, and they're not looking around at what has become as a result, or what is a new door to walk through, or maybe a new window to explore. Don't get lost in that. Acknowledge, feel into, and then decide how this has shaped and molded you in positive ways. How can I use this as fuel for what I would like to create next? So I feel like November is really going to be, and I don't want to give you the impression that it's going to be like a horribly sad month. I don't feel that. What I actually feel more that November is going to be bringing is that idea that I'm letting go of this sadness. I'm letting go of what I've held on to as regret or disappointment or shoulda, woulda, coulda. And instead, I'm acknowledging all of that. I'm acknowledging that I did the best I could with what I had. And now I know differently, or I know better. I have more knowledge and awareness. How do I want to make that new, fresh knowledge work for me as I'm moving forward? Because when I shed the past and I let that go, I am completely free to put into my now whatever it is that I want to explore, whatever it is that I want to create. Oh, apparently Source Energy is giving us a thumbs up. Gotta love AI. So I hope that your November is amazing. Stay tuned and watch one of our greatest hits to get some laughs, to get some boost of energy, and maybe even to spark some creativity for what it is that you are going to be building for yourself this month. And we will see you next week for In the Stars, next month with In the Stars. And Dwayne and I will be together. We will be our usual bantery, chitter-chattery selves, and we look forward to connecting with you guys then for what will be our final show of 2024. Ooh, can't wait.
Hello and welcome to the final In the Stars with Dwayne of 2023, and thank God it's over this friggin' year. Hi Stacy, how are you?
Hi, Dwayne. I'm good, and I feel the exact same way. I'm just so, okay, here's the thing. Let's be real. 2023, in the grand scheme of things, I feel was a year that, like, I can look back on it and say, okay, there was a lot of shift. Like,
Mhm.
things shift. But the shifting of it, OMG, so painful. I'm so over it,
Me
right?
too. And the Mercury's in retrograde and the this in retrograde and all of this crazy cosmic stuff. And then I mean, I don't know if I've ever had such an eventful year.
Yeah,
Both negative and positive in some ways too. But really
yeah,
a lot, like you said, painful shifting. So I'm
yeah.
so glad it's over. And 2024 looks like it is so good. Like cosmically, everything is just falling into place. I mean, it's just crazy. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think that's exactly, you're putting it right. It's been a very painful
Hmm.
year transitionally. And of course, you mentioned we're still in Mercury retrograde, which actually is like a relax, retreat, reflect. So that
Yeah,
part actually feels a little comforting. But right now we're in the middle of our Cancer full moon. And I
yeah,
don't know about you being a fire sign, me being air and loving all of the air. I hate the water stuff. It makes me
yeah,
just so feel out of my element, right? I
yeah,
mean, that's literally what it's doing, but figuratively, I'm out of my element and I
yeah,
just feel all the things so much more. I'm ready to feel and I know, happiness is a choice. I'm ready to feel more happiness. I'm ready to feel
yeah,
more joy. I'm ready to be in that, and I feel it already. The 2024 energy has got excitement. It's like it's crackling with anticipation and
yeah.
movement. And I'm like the kid at Christmas who's like, "Oh my god, I see that big box under the tree and I just can't wait to open it." That's how I feel about 2024.
Yeah, me too. Even like just January 2nd, Mercury goes out of retrograde.
Yeah, right.
All this stuff. I know Keone doesn't believe it. He lives in a fully retrograde world.
Yes, he just lives in retrograde 24/7.
But yeah, so many great things happening in January, February, March, even. I mean, for 3 months, the beginning of 2024, astrologically, everything is just great. And we did our first quarter reading, which so I have a little bit of insight into that as well. So it's just good to know that we've got some good stuff happening, and it's about to happen over the next week. So here we are, December 27th, and we just got a few more of these last days of 2023 to get through. But it's exciting, and we've got people that now are starting to, I guess, to be introduced to our show and to understand that they can get readings and things like that. So that's exciting because
Yeah.
we've kind of just put it out there and see who bites, and now people are starting to bite. So I'm very excited
I,
about.
I love it because for those of you who come from either or, we know we have In the Stars with Dwayne, who, you know, he does do tarot readings, but mainly for his show, it's astrology, it's horoscopes, and it's things like that. And then if you've tuned in to the Black Feather Intuitive, especially Demystify the Divine, every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the Black Feather Intuitive YouTube channel, it's tarot, it's guidance, and she does a lot of psychic, and it comes so natural. And so the smattering of them for these mashups has been amazing, which I love. But one of the things you talked about is, isn't it crazy that every year works like this? January to April takes forever. And then once you pass June, the year is like, all right, I'm over. Let's get to the end.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Keone. So I have found that you're right. It's like the January to April is like the sluggish time, right? And it's kind of like, okay, we got to put in the work, we got to put in the effort. I think there's still, and I'm hoping to shift that this year, but I'm thinking that we're still kind of processing through what we're letting go of from the previous year while we're still moving forward. And this year I hope to just be completely done with that and moving forward. But you're right, it's usually the as soon as the middle of springtime hits. And I think it's partially because people are always very anticipatory of the spring and the summer because of the better weather, and we're going to get to be outside, and there's things to look forward to, and there's more holidays time and things of that nature. So I think we do tend to speed things up. And then, of course, energetically, because I'm an energy girl, the energies are quick. And I heard somewhere, I can't even remember now who it was to give them proper credit, but someone said a 24-hour day 20 years ago is the equivalent to like a 16-hour day, or like our day today is like 16 hours. So it's no wonder that we feel always like time just flies, because if you think about an hour, I just pissed away an hour thinking that I was going to have time to really get in and do some stuff before we went on live. I don't even know where the hour went. I got nothing done, and yet I was doing stuff. So I think there's a weirdness with the energy that is causing us to be, I want to say, more accelerated, and maybe we need to be thinking a little more potently. Less is more, and really moving forward with that. Have you experienced that at all, Dwayne?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm on one of those treadmills and I'm never getting anywhere. I'm just running and running and running, and I'm not actually getting anywhere. And that seems to fall right in line with what retrograde is. And this has been probably, I don't remember ever a year with so many retrogrades, especially the end of the year. And when you think about retrograde, the planet's going backwards. It's like it's almost like time is going backwards. Like when Superman would go around the planet and turn it around, So, but the great thing about that, and like what you just said about this introspection during the winter and all that, is that you get this work done. It's painful. It's not fun. But when you come out of it, doesn't that make you appreciate all the positivity, the great stuff you've learned through all of it and everything, and you get to enjoy life again? So I'm really looking at and really happy about the contrast of things, because without that contrast, if everything was just perfect all the time, we really wouldn't appreciate anything.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Yeah, so like I said, January 2nd, we've got, Mercury comes out of retrograde and basically sets the tone for everything positive, with all the astrological events happening. And it's a great way to start the new year. So what you want to do is between now and January 2nd is really get all your ducks in a row. Start to think about all of the things that need to happen in January in order to make your life happier, to make things better. And no matter what your sign is, that's what's going to bring it down to the middle, to the detailed part of how you need to move forward. But the overall is everybody has the opportunity to make things great this year. So I think it's going to be a really great one. And I just got used to writing 2023, and now I got to get used to 2024. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I know I'm going to write some messed up checks. We have a visitor.
That's
Oh,
right. We have someone
yeah.
who would like a reading and a horoscope. Her first time on here. And she's
Awesome.
also, I see who it is. It's Arlena from Pretty Smart. Hey.
Hi, Lena.
Lena,
Hey
how you doing?
everybody. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Great,
Doing
thanks.
great. Did you enjoy your holiday?
I did. I did. It was very great. I need to go sleep now.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a really active holiday.
Yes, very active. Very active. How
That
about
was
you
When's your
guys?
birthday, Lena?
My birthday is April 16th.
Oh, an Aries. We get a lot of Aries on this show.
Here's
yes,
a
we
fun fact about Arlena. Okay, so Arlena is an actress.
Uh-huh.
She's a model.
Uh-huh.
She just got crowned Christmas ambassador in Charlotte. Again,
Wow.
reigning for a year. She's also a doula.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
what kind of doula?
Yes, I'm a doula.
What
I
kind
went.
of?
Oh, I'm a labor and delivery doula.
Okay, so you are
Wow.
traditional, because we have birth doulas and we have death doulas now. We have
Yes.
all sorts
Mhm.
of.
And don't forget the Hawaiian ones, the hula doulas.
Oh my God. Death Doula almost sounds like Death Dealer from Harry Potter. I had to pause
Oh
on that one. I
Well,
need to
that's
know what a death doula is. That's somebody I can contract to go take care of people, or what?
No, they.
no, not
That's not my
not quite to that degree. We're not in the Sopranos here. We're
Yeah,
not
Dr. Kevorkian is no longer in practice.
right. No, a death doula, just like a birth doula, someone
Yep.
who supports the coming into your own, and of course you support the mother,
Yep.
right? Yes, who's coming through. Death doulas support you when you're transitioning out of
Exactly.
the
Ah.
of the
She
world and out
supports
of
the
their
mother
life.
and the fainting
When
father.
you're getting
Okay.
off the train.
Yes, the fainting father. Exactly. We support him too. We support him too.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, it sounds like you're multi talented. You got it all together. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we're working on that. But
Oh,
yeah.
sure. We're all works in progress, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yep.
Is. That's the way it goes. Well, Dwayne, why don't you dive in and tell her about? Why don't we focus on what we always do, which is kind of focusing on the energy of kind of this I want to say like maybe the new moon sort of cycle because we're in full moon now and maybe full moon
Mhm.
to full.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the new moon in the beginning of January is in Capricorn, and it's in the time of Aquarius. And so, for an Aries, your whole thing is about your head. Everything that happens inside of your head. It's what do I need to do? What needs to be done to achieve this goal? How do I get there? Anybody gets in your way, and they're going to get mowed over. They really just you're
That
going to
sounds true.
beat
Yeah.
them out of the way with your head. So, so really, the best thing for the beginning of this year for an Aries, especially after just January 2nd, like I said, when the Mercury goes out of retrograde, is really to know exactly what needs to happen. Now, for a let's say a Scorpio might need to really focus on the way they need to feel in order for things to happen. For an
Okay.
Aries, you have to focus on the way that things need to happen, the way that things actually take place. So
Okay.
you have to look at, like, let's say if you want to get 3 streets ahead and you're doing a marathon and you know that you're going to have a tough time on street 1 and street 2, you have to imagine that tough time. How do I get through it? And then you see yourself getting to that third street. That's what an Aries needs to do, is just always looking forward and
Okay.
creating the space for the negative and the positive. Now, Aries sometimes hates to look at the negative. They hate to even bring it up, talk about it, look at it. But that's going to be the most helpful thing for you, because if you're prepared for anything that could go wrong, everything will go right. That's the key. And
Okay.
that's what people probably look to you for, is that encouragement, that strength to move forward with things. Like, how do you do it? How do you do all this stuff? All that kind of stuff. So that's a number one thing. When it comes to relationships, that's the hard part with Aries when it comes down to passion, relationship. Passion could be, all of the things that you do, modeling, acting, and the people that are close to you might end up feeling like they're not a part of it, like they're pushed aside, those types of things. So that's
Okay.
the thing to really keep in mind for you, is in order to balance that, you have to pull yourself out mentally from what you're doing a little bit, and don't worry that that's going to stop you up. Nothing can stop you, Aries. Nothing. And if anybody tries, they're going to get hurt. So that's a warning to anybody that's going to get in Lena's way. You're going to
Okay.
get hurt. So
Watch out. I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay.
so yeah, that's the two things I think that really you should focus on in January, especially, is one, what are the pitfalls, downfalls that could happen? How do I get through them? And what does the goal look like? And then two, while on my way to those things and making those things happen, the people that are important to me, even if I don't feel it at that moment, I need to embrace them and let them know that they're important. And then go back to what you're doing. It only takes a second. It's not got to be like a whole day, lunch and hair and nails and all this. It's like, hey, I am so busy right now. Got so much
Yep.
going on, but I just wanted to take the time to tell you that I love you. And then and then you move on. So I think those are the two best things that I can tell you, Aries.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely will take notes on all of that. But
Good.
yeah, like you said, watch out. Watch out. I'm
Yeah, what
coming.
I love about Aries is, what I always say about Aries is, Aries lives their life by, if you're on my side, then you're everything. If you're not on my side, then you are against me and you must be destroyed.
I know
Those are
me some
words to live
Aries who
by.
are very like that. So
Yeah,
I would agree with that assessment. Not
right?
Yeah.
It's,
me,
it's the
Aries, but
god
I
of
would
war, it's the
agree with that
planet of
assessment.
war, it
Well,
rules war and all that kind of stuff. So they're constantly having to balance that in their mind, like,
you
who's
know
on my
it's so
side and who's
funny.
not.
And then you have the type of Aries that you can tell that, but then you'll get the Aries like Arlena who looks, she's so nice and sweet and innocent and charming, but you don't know there's that other side that if you bring it out of me, you're
Okay,
going to
we'll
destroy.
get the horns.
Oh
You
yeah, did
definitely.
you ever see a ram in the distance, like on National Geographic? They look so cute, but
Yeah,
if
we
you walk up
chilling.
to one, you're gonna get butted.
We'll get the horns. Exactly. The better
Sounds
man.
like me in the club, but anyway, uh,
Sure does.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Well, my takeaway for you on that, Lena, is love is the answer. And I
It
talk
is.
a lot about love as frequency, not as feeling. We're so programmed to think about love in terms of this elusive, I'm supposed to feel a particular thing or feel a particular type of way about a particular person or a particular situation, and it's all connected to this labeling. And I feel like for you, it's love is frequency. Love is in everything, and it's a matter of finding the frequency and the flow to match
So,
those people, places, and things that you're engaging with. And if someone is leaning into you and creating that boundary that comes up where you're like, who to and what for, and talk to the hand and all that bullshit, right? If
right.
that's occurring, what you want to do is you want to elevate your frequency. You want to take your frequency a little step higher and say, love you, mean it. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Okay.
I'm moving
Mm.
forward, right?
Okay.
So I feel like there's a message for you about paying attention to what you're engaging with, paying attention to what you are investing that beautiful fire energy into. And some of it is just not going to be worth the investment for you. It's not about the other person. It's about, is this worth my time to go into it with you? No, it's actually worth my time to speak my truth and let it go and not engage. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I feel like you're going to have two incidents
Mm.
where there's going to be something very clear where someone's going to be wanting to take you into the drama trauma tunnel of
Not gonna happen.
whatever it is, right?
Right.
Nonsense and gannery. And maybe you naturally can go there. And maybe this time you're going to have that. Chicago, maybe this time. I feel like that's what it is you're really looking at it going, well, the only way that I'm going to make a change is not by hoping that the other person's going to change. It's by me
I mean, yeah,
taking reins on that and being that change, not for them,
for myself.
for me,
Yep.
right? So I pulled two cards for you. I don't know why that message came through, but there you go. So these cards, when I was pulling them, I was thinking, okay, based on Dwayne's reading, what are the energies that can support you in applying what he said? And you got Five of Pentacles, and I pulled two cards today. I pulled a tarot and an oracle. So this is from the Shadowscapes Tarot by Barbara Moore. Five of Pentacles is really interesting because it's the card of worry. And I want to say to you, don't waste the worry. It feels like what I was talking to you about with that energy. How much do I really want to invest
Into
in your
it.
nonsense and shenaniganery? What is it going to get me? And not from a place of selfishness, more from a place of, this is beneath me. This is beneath you and I. And I'm
Yeah.
bringing my A game to everything that I do. And I'm going to, because I'm doing that, I'm going to encourage you to bring your A game too by not allowing us
To
to
go
engage
there.
in something that's going to devolve us
Mm.
and bring that frequency down. So Five of Pentacles says, don't waste the worry. Don't focus on the things that, quite frankly, in the grand scheme of things, don't matter. Focus on what's going to accelerate you, what's going to get you moving forward. And again, you're doing this from a place of, I'm not trying to change you, but my choices and my actions give you the opportunity to change if you decide to step into it. So I want to say you're a change agent, you're a way shower, but you're doing this through the living example, through your choices around what life is presenting to you. So this is a card that says, yeah, I can dwell on the woe is me. I can focus on someone's pity party and try to help them rise out of that pity party. Or I can say, you know what? We've been around this particular merry-go-round several times now. I'm going to let you do you. And I'm going to send you love and light, and I'm going to not engage in the ways that I've engaged before. 5 is change and transformation. It's also conflict. You don't have a hard time with conflict. You're okay standing your ground. But I feel like for you, you're not seeking conflict out. And I feel like the 2 incidents that I'm seeing, the conflict's going to find you. And it's almost like I'm seeing the one person like wanting to engage with you in a way that they're used to engaging. And you're going to say, nope, I'm not doing that. But you're going to hold your own. You're not being confrontational about it. You're not even raising your voice about it. You're just saying, not today. Maybe.
Okay. Right.
Your second card, oh, I love this. Ecstasy, fuel your sexuality. Also, it's a 5.
Okay.
So this is when we're talking about that ecstasy piece. When we think about ecstasy, of course, we always think sexual stuff. And of course, this is sexuality. But what I want to say to you is from an energetic perspective, it's the Kundalini. Are you familiar with Kundalini energy?
No.
So Kundalini is an energy that is contained within all of us, and it is sitting at the base of our spine, kind of at our root chakra, if you're familiar with the chakra system. If you're not, it's energy centers in our body that align our physical states with our emotional states, and it's all an energetic thing. So the root chakra is the beginning of the 7 chakra center, and the second chakra, which is right above it in the navel, is our sacral chakra, sensuality, sexuality, creative expression, and flow, the ocean of our emotion. So I feel like the energy that is within you, that is kind of contained in that area, is saying, hey, you need to know about me. I exist, and I could actually help you. I could fuel the dreams, the goals, the inspirations that you have. Let's be real here for a second. We think about sex. We think about that minute, that second of orgasmic bliss and ecstasy. We let the energy leave the body, and then we're like craving more, right? Because the second it's done, you forget that feeling and you want that feeling again. Kundalini energy says you don't have to forget that feeling. You've created energy. Don't release it now. Suck it back into the body. Use it. The body is a storehouse for that energy. So I'm not saying don't orgasm. I mean, what the hell?
Well, that's called edging, just in case you didn't know.
Oh, dear God.
There we go. I didn't know.
There's a word for it? Oh, okay.
Tantric energy is like the delaying of the satisfaction, right? Or the delay of that moment of heightened ecstasy kind of thing. For you, what I feel like this is about is it's not delaying as much as it's recognizing, okay, there's this potency that is in my body. I've just released it. In that second that you've released it, bring it back into the body, because what you've done is you've alchemized. I almost said alchemated. I don't know what the word
That's masturbating with alchemy.
There we go.
Alchemating.
And you and I, Dwayne, we are so in tune. I would never have been able to put that together. So much fucking sense, right? So, anyway, not to make this all sexual, because I'm not meaning it
But
to
it
be.
is.
I'm meaning it to be the sexual aspect of things. We are human beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Part of that human experience is our senses. And the ability to be sexual, to experience all of our senses in those ways with ourselves and with others. I feel like how you can utilize all of this energy for you this month, this particular cycle, it's getting to know that energy, what's the word? The energy storage is there for you. The energy supply is already within you. It's within the body. So take advantage of it. And just all you have to do is be intentional about, the next time I'm in a sensual mood, the next time I'm in that flow, whether I'm with myself or with my partner, or I'm just sort of thinking about, the future of what that might look like for me in partnership, set the intention that any energy that is alchemized, that you've created and transmuted, comes back into the body, because then you get to store it up for all of the day-to-day things and the big life goal things that are connected to it. Sex is about alchemizing energy that we get to then utilize for our purposes. We think a little more humanistic about it, right? Like we're very much about our baser desires
Yeah.
and letting those animal instincts drive us. This is a time now energetically where we need to be more, I want to say, more intelligent and more not efficient in terms of like removing the fun from sex, but thinking not so animalistically and thinking more like, okay, this is a tool that I can actually use, and I'm wasting a lot of potential when I'm not being aware, when I'm not being more calculated about it, or just present with what that energy is. Well, Lena, you just got a whole whack of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Apparently, my guys are just being very airy fairy and highfalutin. So there you go. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank
Take
you.
the rest behind. And anyone else who's watching this, you just got a whole
lot.
lesson in sex as an energy. So
I,
congratulations.
I think what I took away is don't debate, alchemate.
Okay. That's good. I like that. Exactly.
Is Lena
Awesome.
available? We've got a lot of jobs for her. Sorry, she's alchemating. She will call
Okay.
you when she's done.
Oh my God. I love it.
I love it so much. It's the thing about Stacey is sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, and that's why I say it's so authentic because she goes with what she's given. There's no script of how she's got. I'm going to respond to this for 15 seconds,
Gemini.
and that's it. So
That's a
it's
Gemini.
Oh,
it's,
is that the Gemini moon in me?
Yeah.
I've often wondered because my best friend will tell you that I love a script and I love a theme and I love a little bit of a structure, but that's my anxiety that comes out. I want to start with that so at least I have somewhere to go. But
Gemini is that.
the sky's
Yeah.
the fucking
Gemini is anxiety.
she wants to talk about anxiety. Says the lady who comes on 2 seconds before her show.
Well, that's the Gemini, see?
and it's my anxiety, not yours, right? So I just go based on where I'm at. It's all about me.
Roll with it.
Do you feel connection to turquoise blue, the color turquoise blue, Stacey?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Stacey.
Oh my God, absolutely. My house is purples and blues.
See, for you, Lena, you probably feel a connection to red and blue. So red mostly is the Aries color, but you probably have the opposite of red is blue, and so that can oftentimes it makes it vibrate. When you see those two colors together, they probably vibrate, and it gives you this feeling because red is so a part of you. Like I can tell too, if you were wearing a red shirt, you would just glow.
Yes.
Like people probably say that to you when you wear red, you're glowing, So yeah, that's amazing.
Red's my color for sure.
Yep, there you go.
Do you? I want to say to you when you're sitting here saying that about her colors. If she's wearing certain colors, she would look a certain way. And I'm trying to see if you mean if you saw her in red like this.
Oh yeah, look at her.
Oh, see, there we go. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow it up for you. It's gonna cover you for a second, Dwayne, but let's blow it up for you. There she goes.
See,
That
that's
red.
total red.
That pop. That's beautiful.
That is really beautiful. You can tell. See, you can see.
All right, Lena, thank you for coming on and getting a reading and a horoscope and you a whole lot. You got a whole bag of
Stuff to chew on. Oh my gosh. Thanks guys so much.
yeah.
Welcome.
And then so tonight when you see my friend, your husband, if that happens, you say, listen, they've already told me I can't amalgamate for no 1 second to 1 minute.
No, but I'm an incubator, remember?
And don't forget, you can always throw your boots in the dryer and sit on top of it. I mean, not a lot
Oh
of
my
people
God.
do
Goodbye. Get out of here, Arlena. Dwayne is out of control. Have a good one.
Thanks, friend.
Bye. Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So something I want to we know it's holiday season, it's New Year's. You try to be as positive as possible, bringing good things into light. But I don't know if both of you can see your private message. I private messaged you. I
Mm-hmm.
know, Stacey, I don't think you've ever looked at it before. If you can see it while I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
But we also remember there are still people who are going through things at this time of year. It's not all roses. It's not all cheery and presents and all of that. So Terry, she would like some guidance and some advice. She's going through some difficulty with communication and relating with her daughter, who experienced some trauma, some great trauma about 5 years ago, and
Uh-huh.
so she just wants some guidance on that. And we know that can be rough, especially when it's a loved one, and especially during these times of years, like a Thanksgiving and Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you guys have some guidance or some things that you'd like to talk to her about, that would
Yeah,
Sure.
help.
Does she have a birthday?
I was just gonna say, get her birthday for.
Terry, go ahead and put your birthday in there, and Dwayne will pontificate on that. Look at that! Look at that word I just dug up out of my
Boy, a lot of pontificate, alchemate.
pontificate out of my Gemini. I pulled that out of my Gemini moon.
Yeah, because you communicate.
Her birthday is 1033.
Ah, okay. So she is uh let's see, 1033. She is a Scorpio.
Oh, 1023. 1023.
Oh,
It
I
was
was
a
gonna
I was
typo.
gonna
say
say, what
30.
is 33?
Yeah, I was
Like,
like,
Yeah,
which
I
month
read that
has
so
33 days?
fast, and then I'm like, wait a minute, and then she fixed it.
Yeah,
1023.
so she's a Scorpio. And so let's see. And when's your daughter's birthday? 1023. So we have a Scorpio to start.
And don't put the year, Terry. What's your daughter's birth month? And yeah, there you go.
7/17. So
7/17.
July 17th. So she's a Cancer. So a Scorpio and a Cancer. Okay, so the first thing we have going on here is two water signs. And what two water signs are basically two blobs of water that are constantly jiggling around and being affected by energies, sounds, and feelings, and people, and energies and emotions. And a lot of times, if there's no earth energy around them, which is like the cup that holds the water in place, then they're constantly just kind of rolling over everything and never really connecting on one thing that they find. They just move on to the next thing. So it's, I feel bad about this, but let me just go over here and let me get away from it. But no, let me encapsulate it. No, let me hug myself. Let me get a hug from someone else. All of these different things change. So when you've got two of those people, you've got two people feeling emotions very high, they're not going to be ever on the same at the same time. So think of two roller coasters hitting the top of the thing but at different times, and then going down at the bottom at different times. And so what's happening is this wave motion, which in itself is water. So what your best bet to what you need to do, I believe, in order to really get in touch with your daughter and connect, is to find the earth energy to pull you guys together. And that doesn't need to be a person either. It doesn't need to be a person who's a Virgo or a Capricorn, or a Virgo, a Capricorn, or a Taurus. It can be, doesn't have to be, but it can be. What it can be is an earth energy. So let's say, an earth energy might be a thing that you and your daughter can do that relaxes you, that brings you all together. So let's say, just for this instance, because I'm thinking earth, you go to a botanical garden, which is the celebration of earth. It's how the plants come up and all that. That earth energy will help your water energy to contain, and that's where you can speak and communicate in a way where you can both say, I'm in a bad place right now, even though I know you're not. I know you will be, and it's going to keep coming up and down like this. Let's understand each other, that we're never going to be at the exact time. And that can be huge for water signs, because when you do that, she will, because you're the mom, she's going to feel like, my mom brought us together. Things came out that needed to come out. Now we have a connection and a communication, and I don't feel like I have to think that she has to be on the same wavelength as me all the time. She understands that I'm not, and I know that she's not, and that's okay. So The other thing about earth energy that you can just create yourself without going to a botanical garden or knowing a Taurus or a Virgo, is to encapsulate the earth energy at a time when it's earth energy. Right now it's Capricorn and it's earth. So a good time is when you're together for those family events or things like that to kind of commiserate in some way. But to encapsulate that energy is to really bring yourself in, relax yourself, and notice the ups and downs of emotions and try to control them. And if she is doing it at the same time in some way, you will connect on that level. Your water, if you think about two blobs of water, when they come together, they connect and they become one blob of water. What's happening right now is you're two blobs and you're just far enough away to not be connecting the water energy. So,
You the dad was, I don't know because I don't know horoscopes and signs, because I know you're talking about earth and water. The person they lost was 9/6 was their birthday. That was the
oh,
glue that was
yeah, that was an earth sign, a Virgo. Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So their cup
See,
went away.
hold on a second. I have to pause for a second because I also like to, and Stacy knows this, to tell this to people who end up watching that don't know a lot about this and they just think you go off of, you're just making it up. You just explained that this lady that you've never talked to
Hmm.
ever, Stacy's talked to her, but you've never talked to
No,
her,
I've never met her or talked to
that
her.
her and her daughter are water signs and they're having this issue, and it was an earth sign that kept the balance. And I just gave you the dad's birthday, and the dad's birthday is an earth sign.
Yeah, a Virgo. Yep. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's crazy, but it makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense when you're listening to it and actually intaking it, that
And
it makes
and
sense.
actually knowing that now makes me even clearer that the earth thing that can bring them together is celebrating that person, is celebrating what that person loved, talked about, did, because it brings back the earth element to them, the exact earth element, not the botanical garden trying to find one, but the exact one that worked for them. So that's what I would think would be, is them focusing on maybe a memorial, maybe something to allow that person's life to be celebrated, and for their passing to not be a thorn in the side, but kind of like a crown on your head. As like let's celebrate that person, no matter how short or long their existence was. It's to be celebrated, and that will help us too by celebrating that person.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Stacy.
Wow. I don't know how to even follow that because you gave a really positive guidance. I've pulled two cards, Terry, but one of the things I wanted to say that I'm just kind of getting a hit on is the father piece feels like you might want to rewrite the story around the dynamics of what that was. I feel like there might have been some conflict. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but it might be that you had struggle with your father, but your daughter didn't. And so there's very much a different experience with the same person. And so while Dwayne is saying celebrate that individual's life, I would say there may be components about doing that need to be rewritten in order for that celebration to occur and to
Hmm.
really be beneficial for you and your daughter. Now, stepping outside of that and going into the situation with you and your daughter, before I show you the cards, and I haven't looked at them myself, I keep getting this idea that a lot of this isn't about you. Like a lot of this, like you're taking it on as though it's something you need to fix. We think often, I'm a mother with my daughter. I need to maintain that relationship. I need to be a particular way, or there needs to be a particular connection with this person in order for there to be harmony and balance. And what I keep hearing right now is the time that this is all transpiring right now, it's a time of the chaos and the tumult and the uneven ground is necessary for both of your evolutions beyond it. But you are trying to keep something together that no longer can work. So I'm not saying you got to kick your daughter to the curb or she's got to kick you to the curb. It's more of like a letting go of the idea that it needs to look a certain way, be a certain thing. Like let her go in her corner and you go in your corner, and just kind of have a timeout. Recognize that things don't have to be, yeah, there's okay. And so there's a wanting, right? Like you're in that space of, I want our relationship to be different. I want there to be harmony. I want there to be balance. I want to say that doesn't fall solely on you and what that might look like. It's kind of like, the mama kicking the bird out of the nest. It's time for you to be able to go and fly. It's not quite the analogy, but for a mama kicking the bird out, for a human mama, kicking the bird out of the nest typically is a more challenging concept. Like I don't want to let go of my baby. I don't want to let go of control of what this has been. I don't want to release you and have you potentially not like me anymore, or not love me, or abandon me, or not acknowledge all that I've done for you, or not understand me. And what I keep hearing is, it is what it is right now, and it needs to be that. So don't resist what is in this now. Be in the now without trying to make it anything else. This butting of heads and this not understanding one another, I feel is a fundamental component to both of your paths as, I want to say, starseeds, light workers, light beings. You're growing into those higher levels of purpose. And there's the human part of you that's hanging on to the what should be, what's supposed to be, what needs to be in order for me to feel safe to move forward and do these things, but it's an illusion. The breaking free is, I feel, what is required, and that celebration can be done separately. That celebration doesn't have to be done with the two of you together, but it can be. It just needs, that story needs to be rewritten. But I would say maybe a little bit of distance right now is what is required. It's like, I'm trying so hard to make sure that this huge boulder doesn't fall from the hill, but it's rolling downhill, right? And so I'm the one that's going to be crushed, but I keep holding it from running down. Get out of the way. Let that ball just roll wherever it's going to go, and just stay out of the way of things. I just keep hearing, it's not your job. It's not your responsibility to single-handedly turn this around. I don't know if that makes sense. So, okay, so the card that you got is Eight of Swords. So it's entrapment. It's a card of entrapment, feeling entrapped. But it's sword energy, so it's the realm of the mind. And I want to say, you're only trapped in your mind. You're only trapped in the situation in your mind. But if you free yourself of those thoughts, if you free yourself of this obligation or this idea that things have to look a certain way or need to be a certain way, and you go with, it is what it is, you free yourself. On the flip side of this entrapment card is liberation. Liberation is a way more powerful word than freedom. And we often don't think about that. We use them interchangeably, but liberation is emancipation, right? It's, I am completely sovereign. You can have your freedom and still not be sovereign, right? But liberation is sovereignty. No one has control over me or my thoughts or my things or what I'm choosing to believe in or hold on to, or my desires, my dreams, my goals. There's an invitation for you here to release yourself from the mind portion of what you think this is supposed to be. Step back. Apply, integrate the spiritual. So all of this heaviness that you've got going on, your guides are saying, let it go and apply. I talk about this all the time. Wisdom is a nothing burger if you don't apply it. It's how many people have met, you meet that person who's so freaking book smart. They know all things about all things. And you're just like amazed by their intellect. But they have no concept of how to interact or interrelate with other people. Or they have no concept of how to like live, maintain themselves. They always need someone else to handle some of the other stuff because they're so caught up in this. They have so much knowledge, but if you don't apply it, what good is it? How does it get you where you want to be? So this is the action step that can support you, is apply what you know, integrate the spiritual. That's the key to all of this. You're trying to apply worldly judgments and worldly desired outcomes to something that goes well beyond those human limitations. And it's a spiritual connection, it's spiritual support. So I don't know if any of that makes sense at all. And I feel like I'm the Debbie Downer after Dwayne's beautiful,
Well, you know
positive.
what's funny? I thought that what you're reading was. I thought in the beginning that it was the opposite of what I had said, but it's exactly the same thing that I said, just in a different way. Because the idea of what I said was that as a water sign, you are emotion, you are thought, you are all of this stuff that's happening, and so is this other one, and you are separate, you are doing your own things. And even the idea of the roller coaster, that's about liberation on your own terms. And coming together can only happen when both of those entities feels that it's right to connect. It doesn't mean you can just bump into this one and make it all work. It means both of these people have to come to a place there where they're emotionally safe to do something, and then it can create a a thing. And what you were saying too about not being held to this obligation that I need to fix it, that I need to do something, is perfect, because that's exactly what you need in order to feel what you're really feeling. Not because that's your daughter and this is how this happened, or not because that's your mom. How do you feel about it? When that becomes clear, and then the other one becomes clear, there's nothing else that can happen but a connection, because now we're not off doing our own thing. We're not on our own roller coaster anymore. Now we've joined the same roller coaster, and we kind of are going up and down together because we understand those waves now. Instead of being like, Mom, why are you doing this? Because mom feels a certain way. Daughter, why are you doing this? Because daughter feels a certain way. That's why. So it's amazing that it can sound so different based on the card reading, but it actually, to me, it said the same exact thing, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Terry says, yes, Stacy, that's the intuitive hit I keep getting also. I can't fix. I need a new way of being. And then as you kept talking, she said, I hear that too. Thank you both for the affirmation. This has been, I mean, I love what Lena got. I love what Terry got. We've got one more person that'll be our last person for
Oh,
the day.
cool.
And then we'll get
I thought that was
into,
our last.
no. We tried to do three. And then,
So excited.
we'll get into what we got going on the last couple of days and what's new with both of us and starting off in the new year. So
Yeah.
Tracy Smith Adler, she would like sort of career slash relationship advice. Just to give you a little background, she
Hmm.
has a new career. She likes the job. She's a little worried about the security, so it's not a career that she's like, why am I here? And she's been in the relationship with her boyfriend for 2.5 years. It's not relationships problems, like as if they're arguing.
Well,
Her,
don't tell us, Keone.
her, huh?
Well, don't tell us.
Her boyfriend. She's worried about her boyfriend's stress level, so it's dealing with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So can I go first, Dwayne, on
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. So, Tracy, with the job, what I keep hearing is you really need to be pure of thought. What does that mean? When we are pure of thought and pure of heart, then we manifest exactly what it is that we desire. you've manifested to yourself this particular job and it's something that you're enjoying. Your trauma stuff, and we all have it, your trauma stuff is getting in the way of allowing you to fully accept and embrace. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And you're looking at it from, I want to say, an economy perspective. You're looking at it from the reality of what I see around me is of such a nature that I'm working for a corporation and the corporation could let me go at any time, or I'm working for a small business and money isn't flowing. And so I really need to be worried. What I keep hearing from your guides is you're paving your own path. So you have to get out of your own way. And what's happening for you right now with the career is you're allowing what you're seeing, which, P.S., what we see with our own two eyes, kind of in that physical thing, often is an illusion. It's what others are projecting onto us from a societal perspective. Yes, there's a lot of horrible stuff. Absolutely. But there's also a lot of misinformation, right? Untruths that are being projected onto mainstream society to kind of keep us in line, to try and make sure that we are towing the line that is controllable. We're in a major shift. And part of that shift is recognizing you don't own me. And I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go out with other boys, right? So you're in a space right now where you're saying, I feel like I'm getting stirred up by what I'm seeing. But what is it that you're seeing with your third eye? What is it intuiting and feeling? If you're not pure of thought and pure of heart, which means I've got all the monkey mind that says, oh, I really want this job to work out and I'm so happy here and I'm really enjoying this for the time that it's here. And then you get the ego voice that pops up and says, well, don't get too comfortable because you know what's going on. And Joe Blow just got let go and so just did blah, blah, blah. It's shutting out that ego voice, being pure of thought, pure of heart, what we're feeling. When you are shutting all of that out and you're focusing on I got this amazing job and I'm going to make the most of it for however long I have it for. I'm not going to worry about the timing of it. I'm going to be focused on this is awesome right now. And I'm going to soak the joy out of every second that it provides to me or the joy that it's giving me every second. Not worrying about, am I going to have this job in 6 months or 12 years? Just focusing on, I've got the job right now. Because what's happening is the illusion of what you're being presented with is being overshadowed or foreshadowed. It's like the big conscious collective ego saying, don't get too happy. Don't get too this or that. And it comes down to, on a personal level, your value and worth. So you are worthy of this job. You manifested this job. You worked hard to get this job. Own it. Stand in it. Your guides are saying it's there for as long as you choose to have it. So let go of the rest of it, because if you hang on to that, what you're going to create is a scenario that allows you the experience of losing it, because what you're ultimately telling the universe is, I don't really believe I deserve this. So the universe is going to give you what you think you aren't going to have so that you can go around the merry-go-round again and learn, well, yeah, no, I did deserve it. You don't need to do that. You don't need to have that experience. Just own it now and say, thank you, universe, bring me more. That's a big thing for you. I pulled 2 cards for you. We got the Queen of Pentacles, which, so you're in the money. This is the abundance. This is the opulence. This is the luxury. This is all the things, right? Pentacles energy is that health and wealth. And the Queen puts structure and organization around it. She says, come into my bosom and let me give you whatever resources you require. There is a price. There's a cost. I'm not going to give it to you without showing you how to make more of it on your own. But I'm definitely going to give it to you and I'm going to show you. And I'll show you 55 different ways to do it. You know, it's not like a once and you're out. So this is connected to value and worth. You're worthy of what is being presented to you. And you're worthy of the fact that you might have to, go around the merry-go-round a couple of times in order to solidify that truth. But you're also worthy enough to not have to do that and to just own it right now. And your second card, I'll read the second card connected to your man's stress levels. You've got the card develop, flex your psychic muscles. Your guy is so in his head. He's so in his head about so much that's going on that he's not able to feel in. It's kind of like what we were just talking about with you, only from a different perspective. He's trying to fix heart problems with the head. He's trying to be all things to all people from a head space. But really, what he wants to go into is that intuition. He wants to trust himself more. He might not use the word intuition, he might use his instincts or his gut feelings. That's fine. Use what you need to use. He's running into problems because he's not trusting himself. He'll tell you it's all sorts of other things. This person's stopping me from doing this, and there's that thing at work that's creating a problem. And why can't anybody just get out of my way and let me be and let me flow? The bottom line is he's not trusting himself enough to actually take the steps to do that. He's still giving away his power. If he takes his power back and says, I don't give a fig for what anyone else thinks, I know that this is the right path and this is the right action that I'm going to take. As long as he gets the job done, it should be a no-brainer. But it's that stress piece because he's trying to be all things to all people. When we get into that people pleasing mode, the only person who isn't pleased is us. And we're the most important people to please. Everybody else can figure their own shit out, right? So I feel like for him, it's not so much developing his psychic ability as much as it's learning to trust the intuitive guidance or the instinct, the instincts and the gut feelings that he gets, trusting it more, because whenever he has trusted it in the past, it's worked. He's just compartmentalized it and he doesn't see that he can use it in this current situation that he's in. But if he applies that, it opens things up. So I'm hoping that helps. And Dwayne, by all means, dive on in.
Well, she sounds like a Libra. Based on your reading, she sounds like a Libra. He sounds like an Aries. So let's find out what their birthdays are, so I can
Okay.
astrologically put a spin on that based on what I think astrologically. Because, you know, um, also I think it's important that everybody knows that if your sun sign, so if the sign that you know is like Taurus, and you're born in April or May, that is only one point. You have 9 planets and a sun and a moon. You've got all kinds of different things. So every Taurus is different from other Tauruses based on their entire combination of what that combination exists of is exactly where you were on the earth at the moment of your birth in relation to every planet.
Okay.
And so
So,
when you look
oh,
above, it's like that. Yeah.
my bad. Hers is 9-7, and his is twelve
Ah, okay.
sixteen.
All right, so she's a Virgo. He is a Sagittarius. So now, based on their birthdays, Virgo is going to be the. So she's thinking about it was his job and
Her job, job
her
security,
job.
and he's stressed.
Ah, okay. So for a Virgo, it's very usual that they would think about what makes them stable, their job. Am I going to be here for a long time? What's going to happen? And so right now, being in Capricorn, that makes total sense. So Virgo, which is Earth, in Capricorn, which is Earth, looking at what makes them stable is really absolutely normal. So the best thing you can do astrologically is as we get through to the 2nd of January, which is the end of the Mercury in retrograde, and then the 4th is where what is it that happened on? I was looking at the 4th, and there's something big happening then. I don't know if it's the new moon or, but it's all about creating what you need for your stable situation. So that means maybe figuring out between now and the 4th what needs to happen to kind of like cement the job situation, like whether it's doing an extra thing, making making it obvious how important you are, those types of things, and then putting that into play from the 4th on. And then when we get into Aquarius, the whole thing about Aquarius is communication. It's about thinking forward. So for you, whatever your job is, can you think forward as to what would that job, how would that job be better? How can I make my work stand out in the future? But so that's when we get into Aquarius, which is around the middle of January. In the beginning, we're still in Capricorn, so that's devising the plan and putting it into play and kind of being calculating. That's what, the word capricious. Does anybody know what capricious is? That comes from the word Capricorn, and it means kind of like being calculating, making sure that everything goes your way, being controlling. And that's what you kind of need to do, especially as a Virgo. You're always serving everyone else. So it's very important for you to serve yourself, just like Stacy was saying. Serving yourself will actually serve the job. It'll make you more valuable at work if you are taken care of. So that's kind of a way I would say to start thinking. When it comes to the 1216, him, the reason he's so stressed is because he is constantly trying to prove something. He's trying to produce something. He is fire. He's trying to leave something. He's trying to make it so that people remember him and understand him, because what he feels like is that he can bring light or happiness or positivity or something to the world. So he kind of takes that on his shoulders. The best thing for him to do as a Sagittarius, now again, like I said in there earlier, he would have to do his whole chart, see what's his rising, what are all of his planets to really know what would be best. But just as a Sagittarius, he needs to make something. I don't know if you have to get him a gift certificate to one of those places where you paint a pot, or take him somewhere and let him do something physical if he's more athletic, maybe. I don't know. But he needs to make something happen in order to feel good. And in the process of doing that making is when he figures things out. So if he's just sitting and thinking and whatever, it's not going to get better. He's going to get more and more and more stressed because he's just playing it over and over and over again. If he does something that actually changes his chemistry, that makes him feel good, he's not thinking about that. And what comes to him is positive thoughts. How do I make this thing work? How does this work? Not, why did this happen? Why is this my life? Or these types of things. So it's really about bringing, for a Sagittarius, it's about bringing away from the recording that plays over and over and bringing to a positive production of something, which brings about the thought process needed to move forward in a positive way.
All right. He's a fabricator.
I feel like I just got done alchemating.
You guys are on the listen. I think you guys were 100% on the money today. That's the way to wrap up a year, right? Just hitting
Wow. He's a
everything
fabricator. Oh my God.
right on the head. So we got to wrap up. We went a little over today, but it's the end of the year. You guys did a lot more than I thought. But hey, you go with your feelings, and here's this word: you go with your intuitive, right?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
what?
I want to tell everybody something funny real quick.
Okay.
Last week, Stacy, would put something up and had just put it out, and I caught it, and it said Stacy the Black Intuitive. The feather was missing. I thought so. I told him right away. I was like, "You better change that because it's not going to be good. She's going to be like the
Yes.
Rachel Dolezal of tarot
Oh
card reading."
God, yes. I'll be the pariah. I'll be canceled.
Yeah, Dwayne caught it. It was in the title. I forgot to put feather when I typed in the title on YouTube, and it
It
said the
was
Black
so.
Intuitive.
And I'd be showing up and they're like, "You're not black. What are you doing?
Yeah,
What is
Oh
going
even
here?"
like I identify as black, so.
my God! So what do we got? What do we got going on, ladies and gents?
Stacy, go ahead. I'm sure you've got more than me. You've got a whole enterprise of readings and stuff going on over there.
I I'll keep it short. This is my your year in preview 2024 season. For those of you who are not familiar with this reading, it's my most popular service, limited time service that I do. I'm only doing it until January 31st. Once January 31st is passed and February 1st has hit, it is done. It is an hour session where I tap into your personal 2024 year. I use tarot cards and I pull a card for each of the months of the year and let you know what's coming up. We can record it for you. A lot of people take notes. And what a lot of clients, I've been doing it for 8 or 9 years now. What a lot of my clients who've been doing it right along with me for this whole time has said is it's the gift that keeps on giving, because they are able to month by month throughout the year refer to what did she say about the month previous, what is she saying about the month ahead, how did it come to pass, what do I need to prepare for. This makes sense now. Now I know how this was coming forward, and this was really helpful to know because I was prepared in this way and this way and this way. So it's a tool that you can use throughout the year. So year in preview 2024, we're still booking it. And I book up pretty quickly. And so there are still some spots available for January, but you definitely want to get in because I do limited amounts. It's a lot for me. It's me talking at you for an hour. And when I have, 5 or 6 clients in a day, it's exhausting afterwards. So yeah, book now, book in advance. Cause like I said, when I'm done, I need a break. The other thing is, a service that I released in a very limited capacity last year and was a huge hit that I've released again this year. It's called Your Year in Transformation 2024. And so how it differs from the year in preview, the year in preview is very predictive in nature. Your Year in Transformation is how you can use those predictions to help you transform. So it's a deeper dive reading. You get a little bit of everything. You get a channeling from your dream team. You get a supportive affirmation, to an anchoring affirmation to guide you through the year. You get a really in-depth card reading on the various different ways that you're transforming. You get a transformational theme. You get reflection questions, a ton of reflection questions on a handout to help you really integrate the information that comes through for that 2024 year. So it's really powerful and positive. You can do one or the other, or you can do them both in combination. One is prescriptive, one is predictive, but they work in concert with one and the other. So that I'm going to say that there's a million other things that are coming out. Join my newsletter. Get on my newsletter. You can go to my website, theblackfeatherintuitive.com, and click on my newsletter. That's one way to get a handle of all of this stuff. Also, you can join my completely free Black Feather community on Mighty. That is a great way to stay connected. We do Gathering of Phoenixes, which is a completely free monthly gathering of like-minded, like-hearted souls. We all get together. We shoot the shit about all things metaphysical. We also do a monthly Spread Your Wings challenge in there to keep us all kind of, fresh with our spiritual path. And it's a great place to build community, to make friends, and all sorts of fun things that go on in there. So, we'd love to see you there, and wishing everyone truly a really amazing transition into this 2024 year.
All right, and I'm DwayneLive.com. Everything's there. Check me out. I do readings, stand-up comedy. I've got products. My new fragrance is coming out this year. A line of astrology-based fragrances for, elements, so each of the elements. I've been working on it for a long time, and I keep saying next month. But I want it to be right. You know what I mean? Like, I want earth to smell like earth. I want water to smell like water. And it's very a fun process too. So keep an eye out for that. But DwayneLive.com.
I love it. So I told you guys I was going to be short and sweet. That's my short and sweet. It's like, there you go.
And I'm DwayneLive.com.
DwayneLive.com.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody, it was great here. I know a lot of you thank me, and you thank Stacy, and you thank Dwayne in the chat, in the private message, in the everything. But like I said to 2 of you today, thank you, because without you all, we don't have a show. So appreciate everybody appreciate the Stacy family that has come on and watched Dwayne on some of his shows. And don't think, Dwayne, people, I haven't seen you pop into Stacy's channel with the chat. Keep coming in there. You'll get on that wheel sometime. It's been a great year, and we'll see you all bigger, better, and stronger next year. Not bigger. I'm not getting any bigger, but we'll see you all.
How about
year.
uncut? Bigger, better, and uncut. Hey, you know what? We're going to keep going because I want to thank you, Keone. because you've done all this, you created all this, and you keep us going all the time. And we've been doing so much stuff. So getting it out there and helping people. I mean, people really. I want to call in and or get a reading from myself and Stacy. Do you know what I mean? If I was watching, just to know what's going on, because I think the nature of humans is to want to be with a human that doesn't know anything about you and say, "What do you think about what's going to happen?" You know.
Yeah.
And when you focus on it so much like we do, we actually can hone it, and it's a cool thing. It's a really
And
cool
you've got to
thing.
be
So thank
willing
you,
to,
and thank you, Stacey.
you've got to be willing to take it.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful for this collab between the three of us. It's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great new year.
Goodbye, 23.